Welcome to Book Club. We are back. It's the faithful gang. We got Matt, Alan, and D.
Yeah.
This week was D's choice. He picked Web of Spider-Man 118. So we're going to let D take the position. Let her go.
Yeah. So here is the book that I chose for tonight's book club. I chose this one because it's one of my favorites, but I also forgot it was my turn, so I just had to say something. So here it is. Here's a 9.8 direct edition of that book. If you don't like that one's only about $350. Here's the $550 second print that only came with the action figure. That's
9.8 as
that's
well.
also, oh yeah. And then if that one didn't do it for you, you can pick up a newsstand 9.8 for about $1,800. So
Wow.
there you go. And I got it for way
You
less
like
than that.
Look at all there.
What year was
Yeah, no.
this? What year was this?
94.
90.
94.
Oh, okay. There's no Canadian price variance by that point. Oh,
Yep. Trust me, I looked.
Yeah, that would be the other thing to get, right?
Yeah. And it has a cool back cover. It's got the Maximum Carnage cover.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the one I'm going to be showing you guys while we read through the story. And this one is actually remarked by the artist.
Oh,
And
nice.
look at the interesting signature right there. That's
Really well done,
that's
actually.
very cool.
yeah. So hey, and I don't excuse a book, right? I'm not gonna sometimes, like if you know the backstory and you know the story ahead of it, a story can be better. So in this story, it's they're showing Peter Parker's clone. It was introduced back in 1975 in this book right up here. That's also a 9.8. And he has all of Peter's memories up to the point where his DNA sample was collected.
Mhm.
So he knows that he was Spider-Man. He knows that his Uncle Ben died. Great power, great responsibility. He loves Aunt May. He's got all those feelings, the duty-bound purpose that he feels. That's all inside of him. Plus, what else is inside of him is he knows that it's not really him, that he's a clone, and all those memories were implanted. And it's a tough war that he faces down on in his head there. So first page here, he's at a museum. He's just kind of contemplating, like, hey, it's time to get up out of here. I shouldn't be doing this. I don't belong here. This isn't my life. But every time he turns around, he's reminded of the fact that he really loves the city of New York. He sees this weird looking hoodie over here. But then his spider sense goes off and he realizes these robbers are about to, or these, the protection racket is about to try and collect some money. But just as he's about to intervene, the police show up and everything's fine. Just enough to get his spider sense tingling, though, So he keeps on trucking. He looks at that hoodie again, and he's like, "Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility." And so now he's kind of like talking himself into staying in New York instead of returning back into exile. Next panel, you get a splash page of Venom. And this is like a weird time for Venom. It's after Carnage. He is kind of an anti-hero where he's going after bad guys, but he's still doing bad things. So he's chasing down this car that's shooting at the cops, and basically he wrecks the car into the river, and then the cops shoot at him because they still know him as a bad guy, and he just spits out the bullets. It's not a big problem for Venom. And then Venom kind of starts going down like a little memory lane thing himself, where he happens upon a place where He's had some battles and some people have died. Sees the cops show up again, so now he's like, I'm going to get out of here. So he bounces. At this time, Aunt May is in the hospital, which is what brought Ben Riley back to the city because he's worried about Aunt May. Sees Betty Brant there. So Ben Riley's doing a little creeper stalker thing. She notices that something's looking at her. And then he's like, I got to get out of here. So he gets out of there. Not a big deal, but there's a lot of turmoil in his head. He's seeing people from his past. He's wondering if he should stay, if he should go. Then he winds up in the old warehouse where Peter found Uncle Ben's killer. And to Ben Riley, these are all his memories too. He remembers them like he was there. So which makes him feel his feelings. He starts thinking about all the things that he did and that he didn't do. He gets some more venom. He goes back to the church where he inherited the symbiote suit. And then here you see a reporter that's kind of snooping around. He's doing a story on Venom. He didn't think that he would actually bump into him. But luckily he wasn't noticed, and Venom leaves.
That's who that guy was. Okay.
Yeah, no, and that makes more sense in the very next issue. He actually interviews Ben Riley. Then Ben Riley bounces back up onto this familiar bridge where Gwen Stacy died.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts remembering all that. And just as he's going through those memories, he sees some girl who is getting ready to jump. And he's like, nope, I can't do that. And, she jumps off and then screams for some reason. And kind of a cool moment, though, for me. I like this, where he's starting to swing to go catch her, and he's learned from what happened to Gwen. He times his trajectory, his arc, all that stuff, so that
He redirects
catching her. Yeah, so he just redirects her momentum a little bit instead of hitting her with a hard stop that would kill her.
Mm-hmm.
And he's thinking about all this in real time, which I thought was a pretty thoughtful storytelling there.
Mm-hmm.
So then he brings her off to the hospital and then disappears when they're like, hey, the police are going to want to chat. He's like, yep, I'll be right back. I forgot my milk at the gas station. But all this walking down memory lane was enough to make him really start to think about staying. And then he hears a news report on the radio about Venom. And he got him mad because he's like, why did Peter make a deal with this creep where he wouldn't go after him anymore? Because that was what was going on at the time, is Venom and Spider-Man had a working arrangement that Venom wouldn't try and kill Spider-Man and Spider-Man wouldn't try and capture him. And Ben's like, dude, that's garbage. I can't believe Spidey never took care of him. So then he runs off to the museum. He grabs some red tighties, and he rips off his sleeves. And in this next issue, you get your splash panel of Scarlet Spider. And then he goes, okay, Venom, here's one Spider-Man who's not going to let you run wild. And the next 3 issues, he pursues Venom, and he takes care of him. There's not a lot to say there. Like, that's, they're trying to set up a solo story where 2 of the 4 monthly Spider-Man titles are going to be dedicated to Ben Riley, and the other 2 are going to be Spider-Man. So without reading what's before it and what's after it, you don't get a lot of context here. I still love this book, but cover, I'll just be honest, man. Like, I love this cover. I cannot go higher than a 3. Even though I think the art is cool, I think the pose is great, and it's become iconic for a fan like me of this character. I want to go higher, but there's no background. We're not. It's nothing that special. So I have to do a hard stop at 3. Interior art, I thought was serviceable. I'd give that about a 2.5. Once again, it's nothing that knocks your socks off. I love every panel, every page, because it's one of my favorite characters and it's important to me. But if I'm going to grade it as honestly as I can, I have to go 2.5. Story, hey man, it's one of my favorite characters. It's not my favorite story. I'd give the story probably a 2. Overall, I'd give my book a greater than the sum of its parts 5. No, I'm kidding. We'll go 3 for the overall grade. All right.
Cool, man.
We're gonna go with we'll go with Alan.
Good. Thank you very much, Steve.
This is going to be interesting. Normally, the person that brings the book is the one that gives it the highest score, usually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to be one of the ones that gives it the highest score,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting based on Dee's review of his own book. I'm actually going to give this book a pretty high review because it is a setup book. It's a book where you're setting up, in a way, a new character. You're setting up Ben Reilly is this alternative Spider-Man. And whenever you do that, in a way, it allows you to reflect on things differently. Like you can kind of utilize the character in a different way. Think, he's the same person, but he's not the same person, and he knows that he's not the same person. There's that dynamic there that's kind of cool. He's learning from the mistakes that he never made, but actually he kind of owns that it has part of him. Like the scene where he saves Gwen Stacy, even though it's not Gwen Stacy, is kind of a very dramatic scene. It's he really was hit by that. That was a really traumatic thing for Peter Parker, but it is just as dramatic for Ben Reilly. So he wanted to fix that wrong that he made in the past, a mistake that he made in the past, even though it wasn't his mistake. Mm-hmm. Now you're getting the setup where he doesn't know Peter's motivations for what happened with Venom. There's things where their memories now are diverging, and they're setting up this idea that he's going to be going up against Venom. Whenever they do the 2-story thing, it's going to be the next book where they actually resolve that. So this one, I thought was really good setup. You kind of get the understanding, like they really do spend a lot of time, showing that he has Peter Parker's memories, and they really do go over the great responsibility quote many, many times, and his interpretation of it. And his interpretation is actually has more consequence than Peter Parker's interpretation of it. Because for Ben Reilly, it's not only his life that gets impacted by whatever actions he does, but it's actually Peter Parker's life that gets impacted. And he's kind of really thinking, oh, I can't do this to Peter. He, not only to himself, but to Peter as well. He's he has all this extra weight that you get for not owning your own life. It's kind of a messed up situation. And that kind of comes through in this story. I think the story was actually well written. The one thing, my one complaint, and it's not even a complaint, is they never refer to him as the Scarlet Spider.
That comes up in
when does that come up?
I think the very next issue of the series.
Okay, so I was like, oh, I was expecting, normally, when they did it with Wolverine, the panel and it says Wolverine. They didn't do that. I was actually a little bit surprised. I thought it was in there for some reason. So I thought
the last panel, he referred to himself as a Spider-Man.
Yes.
But that reporter that was going, the reporter that's going after Venom interviews Ben Reilly in the next issue, and refers to him as the Scarlet Spider.
Okay,
And
cool,
that's where
cool.
the name comes from.
So yeah, I was curious about that. So that I thought that was interesting. What was I going to say? Yeah, the reporter thing, I was a little bit confused by, I have to say. Like, I didn't quite catch it. Like, it was not so obvious. Now, I'll give you my scores. I actually like the cover. Whenever I see this, I'm like, oh, Scarlet Spider. Yeah, and it has like a lot of those kind of good feelings from the 90s, like, you know, going to the comic book shop, seeing this on the wall. So I'm very nostalgic to this cover. It was one of the ones that was always a wall book back in the day. So I'm going to give this a 4. I'm actually going to give it a pretty high score, but it has the spider's pose. It's kind of a cool cover. It was a new take on Spider-Man, where he has this different costume, the one that D is fronting right now. I'm going to give the writing also a 4. It was solid writing. Interior art, I'll give a 4 as well. But I'm actually going to give it higher than the sum of its parts. I'm going to give it a 4.5 because it is like such a significant book within the Spider-Man mythology. So I actually really like this one. So we'll get Matt to go next, but that's my take on it.
What I find interesting is I'm sure it's explained somewhere, but, you know, to me, with the way my mind works is I know this guy's a clone, but how did he get the memories? Like, and how was he brought up as an adult? Like, it's the kind of questions that I have.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
clones don't work that way. But they
know. But that's my issue. So let's go with what's written on the paper. Okay. I like the fact that when he's going through his memories and he, you know, like he's not sure which decision is he going to make. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? If he stays, he's got to hide, or does he make himself, visible? Well, he decides to become visible as a costume hero anyways. But the thing I like in particular was that because he has the memories of Peter Parker, I like the way that he saved the woman because he did it gentler. He wasn't as young. He had experience. He knew what happened. He was able to rectify his previous mistake. And I like that very much because it shows character growth, even though it wasn't that character that did it. You know, so and character growth is always a big part of things for me. I like the stories, but I also like to see the character grow, because if it's always like, it takes Conan a while to grow because it's always me shoot, me kill, you know, and then slowly. But the Venom part of the story was confusing to me because I don't know I'm not familiar with the era of Spider-Man very well. So that there was a deal between him and Spider-Man, I didn't know this basically until D basically said it, and the small little hints in the book about it. So I like the fact that, you know, Scarlet Spider, in his mind, you know, he's got to take him out. It was also interesting for once to not have the guy, you say, why they don't call him the Scarlet Spider. Well, he didn't stand up and say, "Hey, Venom, you're facing the Scarlet Spider," like a lot of heroes done over the years, right? You know, I mean, didn't Wolverine say, "I'm Wolverine and I'm going to kick your ass," or something to that effect?
No, I think it just said "Meet the Wolverine" or something like that.
Oh, okay, well, I haven't read it, so I do remember that people were saying he was all anyway. Now, I can ramble on for hours because one thing I did notice about this book was there was a lot of text, especially with him in the museum.
You're in his head, right?
Yeah, you're in his head. And in this case, a lot of text was the good thing because you got to see what he was thinking, what he was sorting through, because I think the Ben Reilly side was all about that. Just like the Venom was. You could tell that Venom is conflicted. He wants to do good things, but he doesn't want to do good things. You know, it's almost
an anti-hero. That's why.
If there has ever been a character who defines the D&D alignment of chaotic neutral, it's him. He's just nuts. So let's get into the scores. Cover, cover's pretty cool, but I actually agree with D in the sense that I wish there was a little more to the cover, because you're seeing this character, but you're not getting any context. What I like about background sometimes is you know where he is. I mean, everybody knows Marvel takes place in New York City pretty much. Yes, we get that. But, okay, is he really there? We don't know from the cover. So, cover, I give a 3.5. As for the interior art was pretty good for the 1990s.
Yeah, I thought so.
So I'm actually going to give it also a 3.5. And then for the writing, now the writing was damn good. I'm going to give it a 4.
Mm-hmm.
I wish, from my point of view, I knew more about the story, but I'm going with what's in front of me right here. So I give it a 4. And overall, I give the book a 4 because even though I have 2 3.5s, the book has some significance, and that adds to my final score.
Cool.
And it's up to Biggie.
Right. 15 plus 27, 37, 40,
52.
52. Yeah, that's
Wait.
Oh.
Let me try this again. 15 and 27 is 42. Sorry, 42.
37, 42. Yes.
Yeah, 42.
All right. So I agree and I disagree with a bunch of stuff that was said. I thought it was a very quick read. Wasn't that bad. I think the only thing with the art is the cheekbones. Like those cheekbones could be asses in any other day. So, the inside art's great. Like the little details in the back. He's in the museum. There's dinosaur stuff. It's just the anatomy and the face is a little off. This is a good little page.
Well, it has that 90s flavor to it, is what I would say.
Yes. There's no doubt that this is a 90s book.
I like this part. I like this part with the sweater right there. You know, like you see the sweater and you're like, is that going to be the one he gets? Is that the part of his costume? You know, like, so here's my thing. I believe this is a Larson interior, I would guess, right? Inside?
No, Stephen Butler.
Stephen Butler, damn, he really leaned into the Larson. That was pretty early too. Wow, that was a good job by him.
That's very 90s.
That's very big muscles.
Yeah, muscles on muscles. That's 90s.
So he was fighting with the idea of, like Alan said, like his own existence and what he's going to do. And he met that one girl that he knew about, and for some reason he's like spying on her a little bit. You know, he's like in the window watching her, and it's a little creepy, a little pervy. She's got that weird face thing going. He's fucking. He's fucking checking the lady out.
His reaction was, "Oh, Betty Brant's here," because I think he was checking on it.
Yeah,
that is on his hospital room.
He started off that way. You're right, but I'm saying he stuck around for the show, brother. You know,
all the legs.
He actually has fond memories of her, and I think she becomes his love interest, right?
Not really. It's a different character. I forget her name right now.
Okay. I thought they were setting her up to be the love interest.
That's what it seemed like, but I didn't recognize her. Betty Brantford, yeah, that sounds about right. Now I've had a ASM 149. I had a chance to get a 118, and I haven't had it. I've thought about it a few times. Kind of a pricey book. I'll get there eventually. It's kind of a rabbit hole. And at the end of reading this, I felt like the rabbit hole got a little deeper because I want to see Scarlet Spider in his costume fighting Venom. You know, I didn't feel like you needed to know the mythos around Scarlet Spider or Spider-Man. This is a good one shot standalone. You know, what D said about Spider-Man and Venom, that's good information, but you could just look at Venom and be like, oh, we got to take this monster down. You don't need to know Spider-Man did a thing with him. You just got to take this fucker down. You know, he's doing too much. Spider-Man ain't there right then. So, interesting. Not as much action as I would like it to be. I could see why they ended it the way they did. I would have liked to seen this be like a little bit more oversized with the first Morbius. It was a little bit of a bigger book. It was like a box end, like 102 or whatever. Not 101. 101 felt like a bigger book too. 102 was definitely bigger. I would like to seen a bigger book. And then it just jumps from Web of Spider-Man to Spider-Man. Issue like 50 or something. And now I want to see that. And the cover to that one's like him getting like choked or something kind of by Venom. But yeah, I'll just jump into my scores. I don't know. I think I said about everything I wanted to. Yeah. All right. So cover. I'm gonna go almost a 4. 3.75. I feel like D was being a little. He didn't want to mark out on it. Like, you know, I feel like deep down you're being too respectful of your judging scores as to your heart. Like this, like you could have scored a little higher and we would have understood because you do love this shit, you know? So, but it's okay. I don't like being a mark for my own stuff too. So I think it's cool. That's a cool way to do it. I get it whenever someone picks a book and they go 4s and 5s. It's a little weird. All right. Inside art. I'm going to take it down to 3.5 just because they missed them bumps. But I do love the muscle shit. So the fucking facials not working for me. And I would be critical of anybody else. Story wasn't the strongest. I like the whole playing with it. The thing you're right about the swinging down and shit. Not enough action for me. I do like the way you get the psychology and the character build. I do like what they did. I just feel like it could have been more stuff. So it's a little too quick for me. I'm gonna go with a 3. 3. And overall, I'm gonna give it a 3. And this is where we all come together and give our final thoughts.
I just want to mention a little bit about the cloning aspect of the book. It's explained in the 70s book how he has the memories, I believe. I remember reading it, and they explained that they were kind of almost like parallel. They didn't know which one was the real one at first in a weird way. They were like
Yeah.
So they were. It was there was a story there that, you know,
and it was specific to how the Jackal cloned characters. When he took their DNA sample, it retained everything about that person up until the moment of that collection. So, you know, obviously that's
not
that's
scientific.
Yeah, it's not very scientific because
Comic accurate.
Yeah, your brain holds your memories, not your DNA sample.
But they actually found that DNA does strangely hold some memories.
Yeah.
So you can actually have phobias from your ancestors.
Or your clone. Hey,
or your clone in this case.
This was meant to be the original cover of the book.
Oh, nice.
So that's Stephen Butler's first attempt at it. And, you know, obviously it was an Amazing Fantasy 15 ripoff. But Marvel shot it down and wanted to do something different. But I actually was able to get the original cover artist to recreate it for me on this blank.
Wow.
And he was really excited to do it because he obviously, when I sent him the Amazing Fantasy blank, he's like, "Oh, that's so cool." And he's a cool dude to get he's a cool person to get sketches from. He still messages me to this day.
Oh, wow.
Because he knows I'm a fan. You know, he appreciates, you know, he's not the most well-known artist, but, you know, he was the first cover artist and interior artist for this character. And it's, you know, it's made a career for him. Like, even now that he he works on some comic books here and there, but for the most part, he makes his money doing commissions, and he makes a good living off of it.
That's very cool.
Okay, so our median is 69.0%. This slipped in at 69.1%. And it's literally almost right in the middle. I think it's like 2 above the center.
Okay.
Thank you, Patel, for renewing your membership. Let's drop a like for him. I do want to point out that ASM 149 First Ben Riley is a Gil Kane cover. Gil Kane, the great.
Big Biggie. Biggie. Biggie.
There he is. A beautiful fucking cover. See, this is a 5 for me. That's fucking great. And that book is better in hand too. It's better in hand than on screen.
Is that considered to be the Ben Riley or the first clone? It's just the first clone, right?
Both.
Well, it's the first clone, but the clone from this book was retconned to be Ben Riley.
Yeah.
This whole Gil Kane thing, I swear, Biggie, between you and me and the Gil Kane thing, we are making Gil Kane more famous now than he was when he was alive.
Maybe. I don't think so. That guy was a stud.
Oh, I know.
I appreciate Alan for never downtrodden Gil Kane. Thank you, Alan. Appreciate you, man.
I would never do that to such a great artist.
No.
Yes, it hurt your backstage stuff then, has he?
Yeah.
Is that not a great cover that D just held up, or am I crazy?
No, that's a good one.
Gil Kane can be good when he has the right inkers. When he inks himself, he's terrible.
He's good all the time.
There's certain artists that are really good, and then they have like their bad periods, right? Where they like, I guess Gil Kane's Superman stuff wasn't the greatest. That's why Matt.
No, it was pretty terrible.
That sucked awesome too.
Yeah.
But we're not going to smudge up Scarlet Spider's episode with our Gil Kane debacle. So who was next?
I'm next, I believe, right?
You're next. Let her rip, Alan. What you got for us, my friend?
I got something fun for you guys. So we just did a first appearance of the Scarlet Spider. Well, let's go golden. Let's go Golden Age. Let's do a first appearance of a Golden Age character. I have not shown this book on my channel yet, but I'm showing it here first. So this is for you guys. This is Top Notch Comics number 9. It is the first appearance of the Black Hood. This character.
Damn.
Very cool book, and I really enjoyed the story. So I'm hoping you guys like it too. It's a really cool story.
Yeah. It looks cool as hell. Who did the art on that?
I believe it is. One sec. I just want to make sure I say the right thing.
I love classic comic art, man. It's so good.
The funny thing is, it doesn't say who it is.
Okay, no worries.
I don't know who it is. But it's
Luke Finey to
got
me.
a bit of that creepiness to it, right? With the bats and stuff.
Oh, that's so badass, man.
Dude, that's obviously a Gil Kane cover.
Might be, dude.
But it's an interesting one because in a way, you see all the bats. Kind of there's a little bit of crossover between Batman and the Black Hood, strangely, in certain aspects, and I'll get into that when I do my review. But great book. Okay, so that's my choice. That's Top Notch Comics number 9. Origin and the first appearance of the Black Hood, first appearance of the Skull as well.
Is that the cover with Doom and Thing on it? Joffrey, let me know, dude, because I shouted that out as an undervalued, just random book to like a really good cover. What you got, dude?
He's shooting his
Surfer, Thing, and Doom.
This is my Mafex Scarlet Spider.
But D, you shouldn't have been so hard on your own book, by the way.
Hey, but you know what? I do want to make sure that I don't overrate it. After I heard everyone else's reviews, I wish I'd gone a little bit better. But I also take into account that for me, I would have, if I read this for the first time, I would have preferred it if I had read the 4 issues before it and the next 3 issues after it. To me, that always kind of takes a book down a little bit. And I had to rate this as a single issue. Dude, in my heart, it's a 5. It's my favorite character. So I'm not, I don't hate this book at all. I think it's fantastic. I love the art. I love the cover. But I do grade it on things like backgrounds and so I'm staying consistent on that. Even if it's something that I love dearly, it does have to, from what I grade a book at, it needs to stay in that realm for me to give it the right score. So
That's what's up, man.
I can respect that.
Yeah, that wasn't the cover I was thinking of.
Well, I know that cover. It's a so-so cover to me. Like,
Yeah, that wasn't like a knockout for me either. I think it was triple action. Yeah, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, I don't think.
We could argue. I think Bill, you and I could argue Gil Kane till the sun comes down.
Yeah.
I talk Gil Kane all the time.
I mean, I don't see enough sexy women. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The only sexy
Can't win.
woman Gil Kane draws is Star Sapphire.
Oh,
she's
here's
awesome.
the one I like, guys.
Did he do the one where she's kissing his boot? Who did
No, that was Nick Cardy.
Nick Cardy. Nick Cardy's awesome. I really like Nick Cardy. He's an awesome artist.
Nick Cardy, I was surprised to see how many covers he did for DC alone.
Yeah, he
we were talking on the Superman show the other night. We were talking. His list of work for DC is huge on Wikipedia. It's like
yeah. I mean, he did all Aquaman.
25 and with the interiors, that guy must have nonstop drawn just for DC.
Mm-hmm. And he was doing from the Golden Age all the way up.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing that guy's like.
I really.
There are guys you have to wonder if they ever slept in there. The coffee and cigarettes that kept them going in the 50s and the 60s.
Some of my favorite covers are his run of Aquaman. I think those are some of the best.
That Mara book, the Mara book, the one where Mara's like passed out and Aquaman's carrying him.
Yeah, I love that one.
It's one of my favorite covers by him of all time.
This is a good one
I'll
right here.
actually do copies of it because I like it so much.
Marvel Triple Action 2.
Oh yes. I think Doom is just one of those characters that makes a good cover. He's kind of a cool character. Like he's got the hooded thing going on. He's got the metal mask. Kind of cool.
Yeah, he has a presence.
We looked at it for a minute, Joffrey. All right, so the next issue is going to be the first Black Hood, and we'll go around the horn and get on out of here. So for me, tomorrow we will do the Hot 5 speculation. Me and TM Nerdy, Hot 5 Commandments. Check that out. We usually do it around 2 to 4 around that time area. And Friday, I talked to Doc yesterday, and he says he's going to try to make it. So we'll probably hang out with Doc and all the regulars. And yeah, I'll probably do a stream tomorrow too. So what you got going on, Matt?
Friday coming, I'm going to be on Alan's show probably, and your show, your comic, I can never remember what you call it.
Comic Collector Club?
Comic Collector Club.
Yes.
That's pretty easy.
I get confused because I know this is book club, so I get the clubs confused. Okay. It's just me. I've got a screwed up brain. Next Tuesday, I have Veronica Tot Comics coming on for their first appearance on my show. So I'm curious to see what kind of comics they're into, and it'll be very interesting to, I like seeing different collections, and hopefully they'll be great. And the week after that, I have artist Sammy Francis coming on my show. She's a Canadian artist out of Vancouver who does who's currently doing a lot of Archie work, and it's really cool. She's going to be coming on. She did the first piece I ever bought, so she did the Supergirl piece that you can see right there.
Do you know if she's going to be at the con on the weekend?
No, it's only locals to this one. It's not the big one where they charge people.
Get more. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Ron and Janet are going.
Yeah. I figured. I knew they were going. Okay.
Jeff Isherwood's going.
So today I dropped the Q&A video, which was okay. I think it was a good episode. If you like Wonder Woman, there was a lot of Wonder Woman for some reason on it today. And some good questions that people asked. So I recommend checking out today's video. Getting finally close to actually showing some Grail books on my Grail unboxing. So that next week, I think it's the second episode of next week, we'll have actually the first Grail being released. And then on this Friday, I have my Friday hangout where I get a bunch of people to hang out with me and we talk comics. And on Sunday, I will be doing my top 10 Golden Age thing. And I think on Saturday, I'm going to do a room tour. I haven't done one for a while, so I'm going to do an updated room tour. So stay tuned for that. So I'll kind of go through my collection a bit. Somebody wants me to do an extended one, like a 6-hour one where I go through everything. I'm not doing that. I'm going to be doing maybe a extended, but not that extended. And so that's what's coming up with me. And then on Monday, I have the Monday hangout with Steven, which should be some good stuff. We're going to be, I think it's going to be standard Nidor that we're going to be showing. So it's going to be some pretty cool stuff. He just picked up a cool book. So I'm like, I guess we have to go show that stuff. So yeah, so we're going to be showing some pretty cool books. So yeah, that's it.
Also, I'm only 8 subs away from having my big 800 giveaway. So
I'm only like 995,000 subs away from 1 million. So
Thank you, Dee, for educating us on Scarlet Spider. We all now know the first appearance, and you can catch Dee on the Biggie Shack Network, and we really appreciate you. You got anything you want to let the people know before we go, Dee?
No, man. I'm glad that you guys liked the book a little bit more than I thought you would. So that made me happy to hear.
Good. Yeah, I think we were all pretty hard on it. No, we gave our honest opinions, I'd say. And thank everybody for watching the show. That was Web of Spider-Man 118. We will be back with the first appearance of Black Hood. Sorry, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but
Top Notch Comics number 9.
Top Notch Comics number 9.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Hashtag enjoy.
Biggie.